7 reasons a $100,000 salary no longer makes you rich. I remember as a young kid, this was considered a lot of money. I remember being in elementary school and that the starting salary of $40,000 a year was really good. Kind of put you middle class, upper middle class, whatever you want to call it. But today, $100,000 a year salary doesn't make you feel that rich. I believe that. I recently crossed over the 6-digit mark. I don't feel rich. I'm very fortunate though. It was barely enough to get a house that I'm currently in. But I'm just like not baller status. I'm still shopping at discounted stores, watching my spending. Not easy. I'm sure many of you watching this are not even close to the 6-digit mark. And you really feel the squeeze, right? You feel how hard it is to get by day. This here lists 7 reasons why it doesn't make you feel rich. Before I look through these, I'm going to try to guess this. And I'm going to apply some of my personal experience. Inflation. I think that's obvious. It's going to mention inflation. Spending habits. I know plenty of people who are just spend like crazy. They make a lot of money. There's people I've met who make $200,000, $300,000 a year, but they spend like crazy. They spend the money like it's going to rot, and they have no savings. And that's probably my third on no savings. People just don't save money. I save like I'm going to lose my job, everything. Or, as I always say, shit always happens. Car breaks down. You need a new roof, new air conditioner, something, right? That's going to cost a lot of money. So I save as if something's going to happen. So let's go through this list. So what they say here, okay, the financial landscape is not what it used to be. Pretty much everyone once agreed that 6-figure salary made you wealthy, but some people now argue that such an income no longer makes you part of the economic elite. I didn't know that would consider economic elite. I figured that was more upper middle class elite status. I thought like 1% is like $350,000 a year. I digress. Making $100,000 used to be the gold standard, but a host of rising costs means what it takes to achieve economic security and prosperity has changed. Following are some reasons why $100,000 might not be the dream salary it once was, and some suggestions to how to grow your wealth. Well, I just want to know the 7, right? Credit card debt. Let me read this first. Americans do not owe as much in credit card debt as they do in student loans, but the numbers are still startling. As of May, credit card balances are sitting at $986 billion. I think I recently saw that it passed $1 trillion. Experts blame rising interest rates, inflation, and other factors for the increase and warn that it is just a matter of time before the balance ticks over $1 trillion. Debt is a great wealth killer, and crushing your debt is one of the wisest things you can do. I spent most of my 20s in credit card debt. Paying credit cards, racking up credit card debt is the dumbest financial situation you will find yourself in. Do you really need a new TV, a new gaming system, new computer, whatever, and put it on a credit card and make payments? Because those interest rates are so high, they keep you behind. It makes it very hard to get out of. I once heard that paying interest rates is renting money. I've always had that mindset, and that's why I don't get involved in borrowing money. The only money I'm borrowing right now is a mortgage. Because there's just no way I could just buy a house in one payment, right? I don't have car debt anymore, and I plan to keep it that way. I still save as if I have a car payment, knowing I'm going to need a new car in the future. But credit card debt. If you're in credit card debt, that's the first debt you need to get rid of as fast as possible. That will keep you poor, 100%. So if you're still in the $100,000 mark and you're having a hard time with credit card debt, something's wrong. Should be not, I wouldn't say easy to pay it off, but you should be on progress where you're paying way more than the minimum to put a lot more in principal and get out of that debt as fast as possible. That's an ad. Student loan debt. Okay, well, just like I said before, I can see this. Higher education is typically seen as part of a path to lucrative jobs. The downside is the cost of that education. Americans have racked up an astronomical $1.76 trillion in student loan debt, according to the Education Data Initiative. Among those with student loan debt, the average obligation is $37,338. The next is about Joe Biden, which, he's not going to help us out. Whatever. He just dangles a carrot in front of people who have student loan debt. Racking up student loan debt. This was the advice our boomer parents told us. They went to college, they pulled out about $3,000 to $5,000 of debt, had a part-time job on the side, and then when they got out of college, they had a good job, they were easily able to pay off that student loan debt. Now, today, on average, $37,000. And that's just what your debt is. And then you're making those payments and there's interest on top of that. So you're not exactly going to pay off $37,000 once it's all paid off. There's going to be a lot more paid off with interest. And the salaries of these jobs have not increased. Now I know some people are going to argue, hey, the type of jobs, the types of degrees you get is a big factor. And I believe that. If you're out to get a communications degree, English degree, arts degree, you're setting yourself up with failure and with debt. If you're working on engineering, medical, things that are high paying, high demand, that's the debt worth getting in college right now. Well, let's see what the next one is. Higher health care cost. Healthcare costs continue to soar. As of 2021, healthcare spending made up a whopping 18.3% of gross domestic product in America, according to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Many Americans pay expensive healthcare premiums every month. Others have expensive copays and other out-of-pocket costs that must pay each time they seek medical care. The bad news for people earning $100,000 or more per year is that they often do not qualify for subsidies or assistance, making it more challenging to manage the rising cost of healthcare. This will apply to most people watching this who have a full-time job and they have healthcare. Even as a single person, you look at your check and all the deductions, that healthcare insurance is a huge chunk of your pay. And it sucks. And when you actually go use your healthcare, say you go to a hospital for whatever happens, you still got a fat medical bill to pay on top of your insurance. So it's ridiculously expensive. And I feel for people who have to deal with that. I'm fortunate that I don't have to deal with it because I'm a veteran, so I get free health care. It's not quality care, but I get free health care. So luckily, when I don't have to deal with it, when I go to the doctor, I don't have to pay anything. Housing costs. This is where millennials and Gen Z are going to be stuck for a long time. Buying your own home was once an integral part of the American dream, but getting your foot in the door has become more difficult. In the last 10 years, the average sale price for a house in the U.S. has gone from $307,400 to $516,500, according to the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. 10 years, almost doubled. Rent prices have ballooned as well. Median rents across the country passed the $2,000 mark for the first time ever in 2022, according to Redfin. Some areas of the country have higher housing costs than others. Moving to a more affordable place can provide tremendous relief to those who feel the crushing burden of today's higher costs. housing costs. That is a true statement that moving somewhere, like you're trying to get out of LA and to get an affordable house. For me, it was very important for me to get a remote job so I could work out away from the city and become a homeowner. A lot of companies want workers to come back to the office and whatnot, right? And that takes away the opportunity to become a homeowner. One of many, right? So, count my blessings. I'm fortunate that I have a remote job, and it's going to stay like that. And I was able to move farther and farther away from the city to the suburbs where housing is cheaper and more affordable. I was able to make that happen. Again, I'm lucky. Not everyone in my generation or the next generation is not so lucky. Still going to have to struggle, still going to have to figure out a way of how to become a homeowner because housing costs is crazy expensive. Crazy expensive. So I can see why $100,000 a year, can't get a house with that unless you move far away from the city. Nothing to add. Inflation. Yep, this is one of my guesses, obviously. A dollar in your pocket went further in the past than it does now due to inflation. It is an inescapable fact of life that inflation gradually erodes the value of money. To get the same buying power of $100,000 in 1973 today, you would need $702,000 and $277. Oh my goodness. That's more than 7 times. According to who, though, because I can't just blatantly, believe that information right away. In recent decades, inflation has remained low. However, that trend has changed dramatically in the past couple of years, and inflation now is soaring. If you enjoyed a $100,000 salary as recently as 2018, you would need to make more than $121,000 today just to keep pace. While there is no way to stop inflation, you can tame its impact by looking for sales, cutting expenses, and simply trying to be more careful about how and how much you spend. Yep, time to eat crickets. Time to eat bugs. You make 6 figures. Time to eat bugs. Go outside, grab that scorpion, shove it in your mouth. There's your protein. Saves money on grocery bills, right? F you, people. Seriously, inflation is bullcrap. Kids are expensive. As if inflation wasn't bad enough. I think this goes without saying that everyone knows that kids are expensive. According to this, nobody has ever said that having children is easy or inexpensive, but these days, the price tag is alarming. A recent analysis by Brookings Institute puts the cost of raising a kid from birth to 17 is $310,605. With the current pace of this inflation, that number is going to increase over time, easily, year by year, right? It's going to be easily $400,000 real soon, like real freaking soon. And that does not include the money that families spend on higher education after the child graduates high school. My parents didn't give me a single dime for college. I had to pay that out of pocket myself. Pull out loans, pay that off. More and more millennials and Gen Z are going to be considered what's called the sandwich generations, where they're trying to take care of the kids and their parents at the same time. So it's just money's going multiple directions. They're trying to take care of people. Once again, your best bet here is to simply try to become more careful how you spend. Yeah, be frugal, eat bugs. Get it. I got it. You're ignoring simple ways to save. Okay. I mentioned this earlier. A lot of people suck at saving. They spend money like it's going to rot, right? Some people love living frugally. I don't say I love living frugally. If I could ball out, I would. I'm living frugally because I'm trying to stay away from being broke as far as possible. Been there, done that. Being broke sucks. I only do it because I find a need and necessity to do so. Others dislike the thought of having to cut back. Yes, I know. We all know those people. You're probably one of them who's watching this. Whichever camp you fall into, the truth is the same for everyone. If you cut your expenses, you will see those savings add up as you boost your bank account. Food is an excellent place to start. There. Go eat bugs. For example, switching from shopping at a trendy, expensive grocery store to a discount grocery such as Aldi can help. So can buying in bulk from a warehouse such as Costco. Okay, minus the Costco part. Instead of buying healthy, organic, non-preserved food, to just eat garbage with preservatives and poisons, high fructose corn syrup foods that'll only get you sick and get you to the hospital where you're stuck with more bills. No. Stop buying good food. Stop being healthy. That's how I infer this. Now, buying bulk at a warehouse like Costco or Sam's Club makes sense. Buy a bunch of food where you can stretch it out for a long time, and the long game of this is that you save money in the end. I agree with that. Just be very picky of the food you're getting. Healthy, all organic, whole food, right? If you are part of a 2-car family, can you cut back to 1 car and use public transportation for some trips? If it's a viable option for you, taking the bus or a train instead of keeping a rarely used car can amount to big savings. I halfway agree to this. If you live in the city, public transportation makes sense. But you're also at a disadvantage when you use public transportation, such as carrying your groceries, right? It's very difficult to carry groceries in public transportation. Like, don't buy anything cold. It's going to get warm and spoiled by the time you get home, right? And plus, I get that. Okay, have 1 car for the shopping needs, right? Use public transit for big savings. I get it. I get how you work it out. That's if you live in big cities. If you live in suburbs, not going to work. I mean, some people make it happen. To each their own. Bottom line, the concept of $100,000 salary as the ultimate dream has changed. Make no mistake, it is still an excellent income, but it no longer guarantees the same level of financial security and lifestyle that it once did. Factors such as inflation at the grocery store and soaring housing costs have redefined what constitutes a comfortable income. It is not all bad news beyond your control, however. Taking extra steps such as developing a side hustle or finding other ways to earn more cash can put more money in your pocket. Budgeting, managing debt, and working towards your saving goals also play a crucial role in achieving financial stability. A lot of people have 2 jobs, still struggle. What do you do from there, though? I understand that have a job and your own side hustle, right? Figure out maybe something you really want to do and make more money out of it, right? Like, I understand that you work for Home Depot right now. You like to make furniture out of wood. So you work at Home Depot. You buy the occasional wood here whenever you can, little by little, each paycheck. You make some furniture. You sell it online. You keep doing that. You make a net profit over time. And then after that, it becomes your new full-time job where you're just getting the wood material sent to you. You build the stuff, you sell it online, you hire people. I get it, right? I made that sound easy, but it's not easy, right? So, bottom line is, what $100,000 felt like in 73 is now today $700,000 a year. That's wild to me. Let me read some of these comments. $100,000 a year doesn't mean much when mortgage rates went from 3% to 8%. The grocery and electric bills have tripled. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. You know, that's saying F you, Biden, get it. Yeah, when rates go up, housing prices go up, grocery bills go up, electric bills go up. That $100,000 doesn't mean much anymore. I would have I would have loved to have $100,000 income while working. I would have retired sooner. Yeah. It's barely middle class in today's world. I feel like that. I don't even know what middle class is, honestly. I don't even think I'm middle class. I still feel like I'm working poor. Like it hasn't gotten out of me. Like I'm not struggling like I used to today, but I still have the mindset, if that makes sense. Depending on where you live, as to whether it's still a good salary. In a bigger city environment, it's not enough, but living rurally and in lower cost of living area, one can live well on that. Moving rurally or in the suburbs, it's not easy without sacrifices. Most jobs are in the city, right? So if you're going to get a house, you can expect a 1 hour, maybe up to 2 hour commute one way. Many people do this. And it sucks. And you're burning a lot of money in gas and car maintenance just for that. So there is a sacrifice. Unless you're lucky that in the suburbs you have a job or you manage your local Best Buy or something, I get it. But not everyone has that luxury. The headline offers a question which actually requires only one answer as opposed to 7. Democrats are the reason a 100K salary is now a pittance. We can either regard them as incompetent custodians of our economy or accept that their devastation is of its intentional and explore the reasons why. And just so you know, there is no harmless plot to destroy the global economy. It can only be malevolent and self-serving. People always get political, right? They get it. People want someone to blame. I blame both Republicans and Democrats. I really do. Democrats tax and spend, Republicans borrow and spend. Either way, people like you and I are paying for it. And I don't believe it. I mean, I half believe it. Yeah, Democrats are part of the problem, sure, and so are Republicans. A $100,000 salary didn't make me rich when I earned that much 20 years ago and lived in New Hampshire. All right. I 20 years ago, I'm sure I could have made a $100,000 a year salary very comfortable for myself. Like 20 years ago, that was when, well, 21 years ago was the bottom of the housing crash. Like that 2012, houses were so low. That was the bottom. Yes, the crash happened 2028, 2029. But the bottom for housing was at 2012. That's where houses were cheapest. If I had $100,000 a year, I would have easily gotten a house at that time. Because there was houses that were like less than $100,000. It was crazy. Yeah, there were so many of them were like 130, 150. So with that, oh goodness. I found the boomer. Must be a young journalist because a 6-figure salary hasn't been a goal or the gold standard in decades for anyone who was a salary worker. I passed that point in 1988 or 35 years ago, and it wasn't even wealthy and certainly not rich as I was driving a 1985 Corvette and my snow car was a 1977 Corolla SR hatchback that my mom sold me. He's trying to make a point that it's not that much, yet he's driving around with a Corvette. He passed that point in 88, and he has an 85 3-year-old Corvette. Okay, boomer. Sorry, this still makes you pretty well off in my book. I mean, 100,000 is still better than 80,000 a year, 70,000 a year, 60,000 a year. A lot of people make that money today, right? So I get it. I think it all depends on what you do with your money. I believe in that. I retired at 54. Here's the boomer, and did not make that when I started working. My parents taught me very early on 50% of your future, 25% for needs, and 25% for wants. Not everyone has that luxury to make that split. 50% in investing Today, people are putting like 75% just to put a roof over their head. I lived by that most of my life and paid it off for me after working 30 plus years for the same company. Yeah, I found the boomer. Another boomer. That is worth 10,000 when I started to work. Okay. Alright. So that was the comments. That was fun. I like reading comments. Hopefully I get some comments from you guys. I'm interested to see who the boomers are. See if they're willing to take on how it is today for us. Start over. See if they can make it again. Anyway, that's it for my video. Hope you liked it. Please like, subscribe, and comment below. Talk to you later. Bye.